everybody, good morning. This is Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. I have finished making my black and white and colorful Dresden Plate top. I've finished the top. What I had done is I had finished it just a few days ago, and I had actually edited the film. Well, I've gone back and I'm adding this little bit to the beginning, just to talk about a few things. A few days ago, I had put up apparently a very thought-provoking conversation about quilting with a disability, but we're not allowed to use that word. As you know, the last video or whenever I put it up, I have what is called dyscalculia. Dyscalculia, I think that's what it is. And it's trouble with math, blah, blah, blah. The whole video goes into that. How I sort of discovered it. Well, I'm coming to the conclusion that, or we are coming to a conclusion as a family here on YouTube, that a lot of people suffer from it. And that's why I wanted to just make this little short, yeah, me short, right? This little adjunct to that video. We don't suffer, I don't think. I think people around us suffer with our disability. And I take umbrage at that, actually. And I say that in my video, that just because I have a problem with numbers, with math, with directions, with left and right, with reading clock faces, with dance steps, with, you know, things like that, that maybe quite a few of you are relating to, doesn't mean that we aren't creative people, that we can't think outside the proverbial box, that we are limited in any way because of this, quote, disability. I think it's an ability, not a disability, because what has it stopped us from doing? We learn to do things in a more different way, and I didn't really address that. I did say, you know, it hasn't stopped us from living our life and living our life to the full. We just do things differently. And it was just so interesting to me that quite a few of you have said, oh, that's me. Oh my word, that's me. Oh my goodness, that's my husband. Or oh my goodness, that's my grandson. Oh my goodness, it finally has a name. I didn't know it was an unheard of thing. I don't like hanging labels on people, but if you have arthritis, you have arthritis. Is it a label? You deal with it, right? So I'm not, it's not something to be, ashamed of. It's something to be aware of. Oh my word, that's so cool. That's what is up with me. Not that's what was wrong with me. Anyway, I just wanted to clear that up, that quite a few of us. So we better not get in a car where we have to turn left or right because we're going straight, right? Because none of us know north, south, east, west. Oh, please, cut me a break. Anyway, I just thought that was fascinating. And what happened was, Willow Hill Designs and Sevi Nohart, I had alluded to your comments. I had made your comments saying, oh my word. And I really, now, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for showing us those formulas which led to this conversation. Because you apologized, and I did comment back, there's no need for an apology. I think that was so cool, that there are people whose brains work like that, and there are then people's brains who work like us. And never the twain shall meet, and that's absolutely brilliant, absolutely fine, wonderful, super. And I did not want to offend by bringing attention to your comments, to you people, whoever you are. You don't have you don't have a name, but whoever it is, the kind person who did those comments, I appreciate that very, very much, because as you know, I read all my comments and I try to comment back on them. But as far as that formula, as far as the video that you're going to be seeing right now, when I come to doing the triangle, I'm on the floor. You will see. Just remember the formula, folks, and the formula. And see how I've done it. It's just so funny. Ian had to really laugh at that, and Maxwell came in. Anyway, that's that. I had edited this film, so I'm wearing something different. I also just wanted to tell you that if you are new to my channel or whatever this is, I always put up at the very end the fact that you can become a patron and win the project of the month. I do a small little tutorial over on Patreon. I am being left a tip every month. It's whatever you can afford. It's so very, very nice to be able to supplement our income now. My husband's working very, very hard, and it's just been so wonderful for our finances to have that little bit extra. I really, really appreciate that. But I always say you can win I do a project and you can win the project of the month. For you, those of you who are not a patron, this is what I'm talking about. Each month I do a small project. Now I had done a tutorial on a bag like this, a little cosmetic bag that was not lined. Well, this one that I did a couple months ago, this is a fully lined, no raw seams, zippered little bag here. And for this month's tutorial, for that month's tutorial, I have included a completely purchased, manufactured sewing kit that will be included in this. The person who hasn't claimed her gift yet, but I have to get in touch. This little gift, this little sewing kit will come right in here. And that entire little project that I made the tutorial on, that you can unlock to see if you become a patron, this is the little project of the month. Now this month my project was a little zippered bag. What I'm using, I've made these out of the mesh. I make these to wash my masks in. I like to do hot, really hot boiling water to sanitize my masks. And if you put them in a regular washing machine, I was washing them by hand, but this one makes it awesome that they don't get all wrinkled and all screwed up in a normal wash. Just a little laundry bag for you can make them any size, and that's what in my tutorial, that's what I show. And I just made it this size with a zipper. So I do the complete tutorial on this little bag and how you get the mesh and how you sew it and everything. Again, no raw seams. Everything is a French seam. There's nothing here. So this is what I'm saying when at the end of my video, when you can win the project of the month. So I pick somebody at the end of each tutorial. About every 4 to 5 weeks, I do a tutorial over on Patreon to thank my patrons. So that's that. I'm going to put this up on the beginning of I have to go back and re-edit my film because I had already done it, so you'll see that. But again, the triangle, the formula, how I get to that point, it's just so funny. And again, with all due respect to people who do math, how wonderful. But yeah, I always say, what do I always say, folks? Go on, say it. We get there in the end, right? So all of you folks who have whatever we have, whichever side of our brain is firing at the time, let's go for it. And whatever we bring to the table is what we bring to the table. All right, folks. So thank you so much, and have a lovely day. See ya. So ta-da! What do you think? I have finished my quilt top. This is it in all of its glory. I still have to press it there. I'm really pleased with it, the way it's turned out. I have to now quilt this. As you can see from my original quilt, which was very pretty, which just ended here, which ended there, I have added, basically all I've done with this quilt, making a big 4-part series out of it, is add the borders. I've added these borders. I've added these this flying geese fabric. I've added tons more white, which I think lifts the entire quilt. There was, to my mind, my original quilt with just the center and these corners. It was too much black. That's all. That was all it is. And as you know, I'm beating a dead horse. I just was not in a good state. Wasn't in a good frame of mind when I originally made the quilt, which is a very good reminder for us all. I always say quilting should be fun. We should come into our sewing room, not when we're tired or when we are stressed. That's not the purpose, because our stress can spill over onto our projects, and we don't want that to happen. Quilting is an expensive hobby. I had these half circles on, as you see in, I think it's part 2, on just one side of my original quilt. Well, I just cut them off. I just cut that border off, and I have managed to utilize it in my entire quilt here. I did have to make 2 more corner lots of the half circles, which I'm going to show you. I'm just going to fast forward it because all I'm doing is I'm appliquing, satin stitch appliquing on my machine, these half circles. I've just made the corners, which were originally too small. I actually, with the addition of the borders, the white and the black, and these borders here, I actually had to cut them down. And so you don't see as much black in the corners of this quilt as my original quilt. My original plan, I believe in part 1, was just to slice it off and add a bit of black. Well, as the quilt was evolving, I thought, I don't want to add more black, I want to add more white. And I explained that in previous videos, that I wanted to lighten this quilt up. It was a little bit too much black and color. So I just wanted to add the white to brighten it up, which I think it did. I'm very proud to announce that my quilt is exactly 85-inch square. It's 85 inches top to bottom and side to side. My original quilt, I believe it was something like 81 on one side and 76 on the other, or 74 on the other side. I think it was 74. It was, and you can't really see it when it was hanging up. Everybody's like, oh, it looked nice. But it really was very, very skewed and crooked. And no matter how I turned it, that even bothered me. So here I go. I've finished my quilt top. Very, very pleased. As I keep saying, things that are on point, you have to end somewhere. So I chose to end my on point with this lot of flying geese here, this print here. And so my white is out here. I will be binding this with black. I'm just going to use black for the backing, and I mean for the binding, I should say. So there will be a black edge on this white. There's 4 bits of white. There will be black, so it'll finish that edge off nicely. Now I have to think about my backing. So my backing, which may or may not be this print here. I quite like this. I wouldn't usually back a quilt with something so white. But this is a wide print. This is a wide backing that I had done. And it's so nice. It has, I think I will use this because it's like smile, laugh, love, courage, carpe diem, seize the day. Today is a new day. Believe in yourself. You are beautiful. Oh my word. Inspire. I like these little silly sayings. Believe in yourself. I believed that I could fix this quilt. So I seized the day. I seized the last few weeks, and I think it's going to be nice on the back, and it's nice because it is wide, so that'll be nice. Like I said, it's a decent sized quilt. I'll pin baste it on my tables over there, as you've seen me do before. But the next bit of the video is just going to show you how I actually constructed the corners. Quite a few of you were like, oh, you know, literally call it a day, bind it, call it a day from my last ones. But I had made my corners, I had made these corners, and I thought, yeah, I will finish them up. And the way I have made this quilt, I didn't, as you had seen in the last few videos, I was just slicing and dicing. And I don't mean to, as I say, I don't have a cavalier attitude towards that. Obviously, quilting is about measuring. So this is more my art project. The end of 2020, I'm finishing this, the end of 2020, and I just feel sort of a metaphor for everything is turning out okay. Everything is turning out okay. I say I made a silk purse out of a sow's ear. By slicing and dicing and not taking myself too serious. There's a lot of other things that we have to be concerned about. And I always say this is just fabric. And yes, it's expensive. I didn't waste anything. I grabbed from my stash here, but I've made something. And the way I did it is very unconventional. So it's not a tutorial. Don't hold me to it. Because as you saw, and I was just out about ½ an inch on my bottom. And I showed you, I had to fudge that. I hope you've enjoyed this process. And I thank you again so much for watching me, for following me, for subscribing, for liking, for all of that, thumbs up. Yeah, so the next little bit, you'll see me finishing. Well, not finishing. I have to now finish the quilt. I don't know if I'll video that. I have a few other ideas for some tutorials, but that'll come. That'll come when the inspiration hits me. So, finishing up 2020 on a higher note. So everybody, please keep safe. Please keep sane. Whatever your restrictions are in your countries, let's adhere to them, and let's get back to some kind of, not normal, some kind of a semblance of order and safety. So thank you again very, very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. See ya.
Morning, Mom.
Good morning. Do you want to be in my video?
Huh?
You want to be in my video? Tell me what you think of it now. You want to come in and say, now what do you think of it? You don't like it. Why don't you like my quilt?
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Okay, come in here. Just go. I'm going to video you.
I just woke up.
Yeah, no, just go. Just say I just woke up. Go on.
I have bagels in my hand.
So, I'm there. Go on. So actually Maxwell came in to say, he just woke up. He has bagels. Now, Maxwell, what do you think of my quilt?
I don't like it and I don't hate it.
You don't like it and you don't hate it. What is it that you don't like about it, first of all?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? But you don't hate it?
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. All right, well, there you go. We got a vote of half confidence from Maxwell. What I've done, as you can see, I've stay stitched this complete bias edge here. That's completely on the bias. And I've ironed it and I've stay stitched. That's from garment stitching, stay stitching. So that this can get really wavy and wonky when I go to put the binding on or mess about with it. So anyway, the last few videos I have deconstructed this quilt to get to the point where I can get my center square up to here all nice and square again. My last video, I was adding these flying geese, which is a printed fabric. It is not real. They're not real pieced flying geese, which is awesome. This here, these semicircles, or half circles I should say, let me hone in on them, was part of my original quilt. I cut out the fabric of a patterned fabric that I have, which I will show you, and I satin stitched, you can't see, a black satin stitch. I satin stitched all of these half circles onto this black. This is new, this bit. This is new, and this is new. These bits have been done in part 3 of my video. I had done the half circles originally, and on my original quilt, I don't have a picture of it, it's a shame. I had them on the outside. I had just done 2 rows of them. And I want to show you now that this is that piece sliced off. Again, you can see me slicing this off in my previous video. So, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be using that. But, as you can see, the whole point was trying to figure out these corners. I am going to be using it on the edge of my quilt. This is just all laid there. It's not sewn or anything. This was what was giving us trouble to make my quilt square and to fit my original. This is original, excuse me, this is original. The white, again, I have just laid here, I've just laid there. I have to fix this corner. I've added in my last video, I added this sort of stripe here to coordinate with my original stripes there. So I'm working on these corners. They're evolving because, as I was explaining in the previous videos, when I'm looking at this, I sort of squint, and I was saying in my previous video, I see white. I always do that. What does your quilt read? Just at the first instance, and I see a white quilt. Now it's crazy because there's black, ton of black in here, right? But I'm incorporating more white, which I really like. And I'm just having splashes of the black. So this black was too much. Even now, it's too much. So I'm going to push that up. I'm going to have the white on the outside, and then my half circles, which are here, which I have, this was my original half circles. Now, I'm going to put my camera down, and I'll show you what I have to do to make some more of these. corners perfectly square now on my quilt. And we had the edges measured to the planks of our hardwood floor and up this size. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a bit of tailor's chalk. You can't see it because it's the black on the black, but I'm just going to be lifting this up. As you can see, this piece here, look how much bigger it is. And I have to now sort of eyeball it. The corners are a little bit, I'm just going to have to fudge this a little tiny bit right there, but that'll be okay. The majority of it is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up about an inch or so and do a line. I'm using a blue tailor's chalk. And again, this is so not how you measure and do things, but it's going to work. I'll put a straight edge on this one, I will, although I'm doing pretty good. Just go along right there. Give me a line. Now I'm going to take this away and I'm going to cut it on that line. And then I can just flip this over and sew the right sides together on this line. And when I do that, I'll have to just, I can lose it a little bit down here. That stretches right to there, because as you can see, I've made that so much bigger. There's my line, and there, and everything is lovely and square. So that is how I'm going to attach my corners to this piece here. So I have made and marked all 4 corners of my quilt. And here's the chalk mark, and I'm not going to give you guys a heart attack. I'm going to use my straight edge first time. And there's my mark. Now, if you remember, I'm going to have about an inch seam allowance, or a ½ inch, and then I can, when I go to pin it on, I can mess about with it again before I sew anything. I just want to make sure, again, I'm erring on the larger side and not just doing a ½ inch seam allowance here. So here I am. I'm just going to take my straight edge, my ruler. My line is pretty straight. Look at that. Because this ruler is sort of attached down here at my my cutting mat. So I do have a nice straight edge. I'm not going to mess with this because it's on the bias, of course. As you can see, this is a lip ruler right here. And as you can see, my line I marked as going up there. I marked fairly straight. Very pleased about that. So I'm just going to cut that right there. I might have to fudge it a little bit up here, but this was slightly large. I'm going to put that on the straight edge there. But I can mess with that point if it's even a little bit too large. I can just bring maybe the seam in slightly. But I think within about ½ an inch it was pretty good. So here is one of my perfect corner triangles. Now that is the proper size setting triangle for this quilt. I did it. I'm sewing my triangles on, which were the bane of my existence. I'll be being very careful. This is my triangle underneath. Because I'm having to match up, remember this trim here, this ribbon print. I'm sewing it on that side so I can follow the black. So it's going to be the black against the black of this print. So as you see, I have way more than ½ inch seam because I cut this generously. I might have to fudge it slightly at the ends. It's not exactly perfect, but I knew I was going to have to do that anyway to get that funky point. But those ends, even if I have to almost trim them, will get lost in the binding. So I'm not worried about that. It's like maybe quarter of an inch or so. And again, considering how I've messed about, not measuring anything, I'm real pleased with it. So I'm just sewing this, and I made sure I'm not stretching my bottom bit because that was on the bias. But yeah, so I'll sew all 4 sides together, and my quilt top will be done. My quilt top will be done. Then I have to quilt it. Oh my! As you can see, I really pinned this well. Coming to this end, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty okay. I would have liked it to have been just slightly, yeah, I can just as you can see there. There you go. So now, well, I'll take you over to my ironing board. So I've sewn on my triangle. And this one up here, I just trimmed off slightly. That's nice and straight. My half circles go right up to that point. They're not all the same size, but I'm not bothered with that. That gives a nice homemade look. My corners are really lovely and square here. I always round my corners. I might not even, maybe just a slight curve. But this is what I wanted to show you. It's not absolutely perfect. I have a little bit left over here. Remember, as I told you, this corner right here, I couldn't get that perfectly straight. So it's about 1/4 of an inch out. What I'm going to do is, you can see, here's the seam. I was out, but I can just fold that over and tuck that in and trim that off, and you'd never ever know I fudged it there. What I'm going to do is, on the black right there, I'm just going to do a tiny little seam, just a little bit of stitching, because I've folded it. You see that? It's not perfect. It's not perfect. Oh, my phone. So as you can see, my seam is in there, and it's just a little bit too big. So I can lose that mistake, and then again, that I can just trim that right up, just slice that off slightly, about 1/8 of an inch, and have a nice straight edge right there. And yeah, I'm really pleased. So I made sure not to stretch this. I'm going to starch it really well, and just do that and tuck that under, and one corner is done. Voila! And it's beautiful and square. I'm so thrilled.